Thank you, Anthony. I needed to hear that. All right, how about that, guys? As I told you, whenever I have my speakers on and I'm working on things, the volume for some reason in one of the interfaces goes down to 0. So let me know if that's good. So what we're doing, awesome. Okay, very cool. Thank you for that, Anthony. Very good. Okay, so in the new course, Simply Beautiful Jazz Voicings, so we know that it hasn't been released officially, and what it is 2 loops that I break down into what we call chord blocks. And after I did that, we created all the block sections, and I love the chords and I love everything, but I just felt like it wasn't complete. And I can either do this in a kind of like a simple version and then an upgraded version, or we just put it all in together in the same volume. So Rick, in your email, you saw where I sent this out, and I actually have this on, that I'll show you guys on the screen. I just took out one of the sections, and let's talk about it as we actually work. This is not about solely about the chorus, it's about practicing really nice chords. So let's go ahead and let me pull that up so you guys can see that. So right here, and of course, make sure you say hello to each other. Now this is just one of the sections, but instead of just like, this is block 1, right? The 2, 5, 1, 6. So if you click on this right now, you'll see that we're adding a bunch of things to this. We've got our voicings right here. And we're gonna talk about this voicing. We're gonna do this in one other key over the next 30 minutes, just so we're clear. So if you see right here, obviously we have the chord voicing, we have the chord progressions. So not only is it 2, 5, 1, 6, but it's D minor, G. And then if you scroll down here, you'll see that it's in all keys, right? The same exact chord voicing. Now, I don't want this to be an overwhelming addition to the course. I want it to be kind of freeing and encouraging, because imagine if, you know, we spend time learning this in this key, and then we practice going up or down a half step, and then you get to where you can use this particular thing, 2, 5, 1, 6 in any key, and just maybe it's one voicing that you need, and so you're learning how to do this voicing, or this G7 with the flat 9, or G13 with the flat 9. How cool is that to be able to play in different keys, right? Right? Okay, so let me go ahead and let's just check the chat real quickly, and then let's go ahead and actually do some practicing on some of this. This will be a repeat for some of you guys, because we've been talking about simple jazz chord voicings for a while as we've been developing this course. Let me just look at the chat and say hello to everybody. Again, good morning to you, Anthony and Rick, telling me about the volume. I think we got that. Like, you can like the picture chords with the fingerings, perfect. Good morning to you, Vicky. Good morning, Vance. Good to see you as well. Let's see. Dad, good to see you. T-Man is in the house. We have, all right, very good. Okay, so I need you guys, when I sent the email, I need your feedback on this. Even if you're on the beginning side of things, I want you to know that I think there's value into learning these blocks in different keys. But of course, this won't be an all-at-once thing. So let me go ahead and pull up the music where I can see the music and the chat at the same time. And then we'll dig in. This will be a 30-minute lesson. I do have to wrap it up and finish some music camp things from last week. So let me go ahead and put this where I can see the chat. 1 second, guys. And I think we're going to be good here. All right, so the first one is very simple, right? Notice that I have, in my left hand, I have the root, right? The root, the flat 7 of D major, and then you have the flat 3rd and the 5th. So I like to have these what we call chord formulas, where you say whatever key you're in, you have D, which is going to be your root. You have your flat 7, your minor 3rd, and 5. Flat 7, flat 3, 5. Somebody write that in the chat. Flat 7, 3, flat 3, and 5. Flat 7, flat 3, and 5. So if I'm in the key of F and I pick any root and I go flat 7 of F, flat 3 of F, and 5. And another thing we are noticing is that is a triad, right? That's an A flat triad. Let's go back to D minor and just look at that for a second. So we know that an F major triad in second inversion over a D bass, like you go up 3 half steps, that's a really, really beautiful chord voicing right there, right? And very simple, but very nice. Okay, there it is, down a half step. So there's another thing that we're noticing here as we do this. If I say, all right, that's, you have your F major voicing and you have your D right there, okay? That's great. And 3 half steps up, so no matter what I do, if I hit whatever root and I go up 3 half steps, I can play that major triad in second inversion, and that's gonna sound great. I can also double that C if I want on top, so C and C. And let me make sure, everybody good? Okay, good. You guys are writing in. Yeah, so Rick said flat 7, flat 3, and 5. And why do I want you to write that in? Because I want you to be able to not only think of it as, if I go, all right, F, go up 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, and build an A flat triad in second inversion. Yes, that's a sort of a cheat code way to do it. But hey, Vicky, good to see you as always. But I also want you to be able to think root, flat 7, flat 3, 5. And even writing it out like Rick has done probably a million times already for me, it's reinforcing that, right? Even to say it out loud when you say flat 7, flat 3, 5. So then let's pick some other keys. Just go ahead and anybody yell out any key is fine. And while we're doing that, it's good to practice in half steps, of course, but it's also good to practice in whole steps as well. Let's do a little of that. I'm going to go, all right, flat 7, flat 3, 5. From C, flat 7, flat 3, 5. And then I also start to associate, all right, Rick, we're thinking the same thing. So we have this idea of Rick said, all right, B flat, which is, okay, so B flat, and I go flat 7, flat 3, flat 5, okay? Now, what I also want you guys to notice that I'm going to do that again. I'm going to start on D minor, and I'm going to get this voicing down. So yes, flat 7, flat 3, and 5. And I want you also to know that as we're building any chord formula, it doesn't matter what chord it is, you think of that major scale if you're trying to use this chord formula. If I say D, and you go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, it's really important for me to make sure that all of our iMusicAcademy family knows your major scales. I have a PDF that I can easily send anybody who doesn't have it. It's just a major scale PDF, how to play the major scales in 1 octave with the correct fingerings, because fingering, as you guys know, is half the battle, probably more than half the battle. But in order to, once you learn your major scales, then you apply these formulas left to right, then you're good to go. So before I do this little exercise I'm going to do, I want to do what Vance said. Vance said, let's go with B. So B, and I go, what's the flat 3 of B? And I go, okay, what's the flat 7 of B? And so you have, and what's the 5? The 5. So you have that, right? So B, so you have flat 7, flat 3, and 5. Let's go back to D for a second. Okay, so now if everybody look at Rick, what he put up there, flat 7, flat 3, 5. And when I go to C, well, first of all, we've done the hard part of saying, all right, that's flat 7 of the D scale, that's flat 3, and that's 5. And that's really important to do. Right? Yes, you could go up and say, yeah, 3 half steps up, play an F triad in second inversion. Yeah, but that doesn't help us in the long run. It gets the sound, it gets the feel, but I at least want you to be able to spell it out. Not only for you, but in case you want to teach somebody else how to do this. And we know that the best way to learn something is to show somebody else how to do something. So, and that's what you guys do all the time in this, in our group, is you're looking out for each other and you help each other out. And so when one person puts flat 7, 3, 5 in the chat, they're helping everybody, right? All right, so Anthony said learning skills, chord blocks. Anthony, I say it's all one and the same. That's my thing. Scales or chord blocks. I think you can learn both at the same time. In fact, Anthony, I would imagine somebody like you, from what I know of you, you already know a lot about music, and so I think it's important to learn both. So, I mean, we could even go through here, as you guys know, I love to teach all ages, and I have kids that are learning scales, and we go through what we call the order of sharps, right? This is not a tangent. This is just a really important thing. I want to answer Anthony's question, but I think it'll help everybody. Like if I say to you guys, C major is no sharps, no flats, right? That's easy, all white notes. And then they had this fun little thing. We say, fat cats go down alleys eating bread. That's called the order of sharps. Fat would be your F sharp, and that's the first sharp you add. If I go from C and I go up 5 notes, That's G major, which has 1 sharp. Okay, so there's my F sharp for fat cats. All right, I'm sorry, we're going fat. Now watch this. If you go up 5 notes, that's so G major has 1 sharp, it always will. And how do you know what the sharp is going to be that you add? If you go down a half step from your root. So there's my G major. Now watch this. If I go up 5 notes from G, I'm going to get to D. G, A, B, C, D. G is the key signature that has 2 sharps. I already had fat, and now I'm adding cats. I'm adding down a half step from my root. There it is. D major has 2 sharps. F sharp and C sharp, fat cats. If I go up 5 notes from D major, I get to A major. A major has 3 sharps. How do I know which sharp to add? I go down a half step from my root, which is G sharp. Now I have fat cats go, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Okay, so A major has 3 sharps. How do you find the sharp that has the major scale that has 4 sharps? Go up 5 notes from A, B, C sharp, D, E. E has 4 sharps. How do you know what sharp to add? Go down a half step. So now we have fat cats go down. E major has 4 sharps. If I want to get the next sharp, I go up 5 notes from E. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. Now watch this. B major has 5 sharps. Go down a half step to find that sharp. So now we have fat cats go down alleys. Watch this. Fat cats go down alleys. So B major has 5 sharps. Okay? All right, so all right, this will be fun. Now, I usually don't teach that in 2 minutes, but is everybody else completely lost? I wasn't expecting that out of you, Vance. All right, to go back to your answer, Anthony, how about this? How about this? If I said C major has 1 sharp, that's one of, hold on a second. Yeah, the order of sharps, all it is how you add 1 sharp. Like, how do you find the how many sharps each key has? And it's simply going around by 5 notes. C has no sharps, no flats. Go up 5 notes. Now you find the key that has 1 sharp. F sharp is your G major scale. Go up 5 notes from D, you find the key that has 2 sharps. D major has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp, fat cats. F sharp, fat cats. C sharp, fat cats. And then if you're at D major and you go up 5 notes, D, E, F sharp, G, A, you have A major. A major has 3 sharps. Fat cats go. 3 sharps for A major. Yeah, I'll do a fun little diagram of this. How about that? In fact, that's a good idea. So Anthony's helped me think about this, and I think I'm going to do, I've taught this to adults, to kids, and it's just a process of learning. And I need to say this, Anthony, is that as you're learning this, it's not a learn it in 2 minutes kind of thing. Now, if you have more experience with scales and you know, all right, I do know that G major has 1 sharp, it'll help you because you start thinking C major. Yeah, absolutely. Back in my day, you just had to memorize all, and you get your hand smacked. All right, what's up, Jeffrey? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together an order. I'm sure thousands of other people, but I'll do an iMusicAcademy style where we talk about the order of sharps, and there's also an order of flats as well. All right, very good. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. But Anthony, I think learn both. For instance, guys, really quickly, if you're wanting to learn this chord formula and you say, is it better to learn the chord formulas first, or sorry, the chord blocks, or to learn the scales, and I say both, start with C major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then maybe add G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 2 keys, right? And if you're brave, you can keep adding 1 key at a time. But yes, this is meant to be learned, all your major scales. When I started in college, a lot of people had already been taking music and all that, and I started in the first week. I had to learn my major key signatures and minor key signatures the very first week, and that kind of threw me for a loop. So, and I did it, but I had to learn it really quickly. Okay, let's keep moving on here. So we had this idea, and just another fun little fact is when I say chord blocks, the reason I call these chord blocks is not because it's a chord, but because I've put these chords into 4-note groupings. Okay, so the very first one we did again is D minor, and I know I've been talking a lot about major scales, but I think it's that important to not only answer questions but to help you guys understand that if you learn your major scales and then you have these chord formulas, you can play any voicing in any key, not just memorizing it or just for the sound. So as we write this stuff out, and you have, all right, from D major, that's the root, that's the flat 7, that's the flat 3, and that's the 5. That's a great sound. Sometimes I sit on this voicing and I know, even after I've done the math on it and I get the voicing, I also know that for a D minor, if you want a nice little D minor 7 voicing, all you have to do is you go up 3 half steps and you have an F in second inversion. That's a great sound, just like it is. And you can practice this in half steps. That's really nice to do as well. And what I was going to do earlier is I told you how it's really important to do half steps and whole steps. So if I did this and I say, all right, root, flat 7, flat 3, 5. When I'm in C, I go root, flat 7, flat 3, 5. So that's an E flat triad. So for C minor, you have E flat. So then if I go here, and what if I'm here? That's nice. So yeah, I put those together. How nice is that? So for A flat, you put a B triad in second inversion. All right, so what do we have? We have, and you can even do this just for fun. You can somebody write this in the chat. You're going to write D and then put a comma and then put F. And put F and then second inversion like 2 INV. So F comma, I'm sorry, D and then comma F2 or 2 INV. Okay, so you always, if you need a D minor 7, just put that F major. It's going to be good and really nice. If I want to go down a half step now, for C, it's E flat. And I could do that. I could do E flat all the way up the keyboard if I want. All the notes will work, right? There you go. Rick's got it. And if I go down to, what about B flat, right? You put a D flat triad in second inversion. Now that was nice. So, augmented there. All right, so watch this. If you have this. Now, does anybody realize, or am I the only one that thinks this kind of sound is really nice? And notice that I'm alternating sometimes between half steps and whole steps, right? For F sharp, it's an A triad. Oh, listen to that for G minor. Listen how nice that one sounds. You need a G minor 7 voicing? Just put that, and we're still on the first chord. Listen to that. And it's such a nice little, isn't that a nice lift, everyone, when you're here and you go half step and I go here and I go down a whole step and I'm here. Watch this. Bum, bum. All right, now the next chord we're going to do, yeah, it's nice. So the next chord is G13 flat 9. So G major has 1 sharp, F sharp. Everybody know that? Everybody it's 1 sharp, right? G major has 1 sharp, F sharp. How do you find out which sharp that is? Just go down a half step. So when we do our chord formula for the G13 flat 9, all I say is root, flat 7, 3, 13, and flat 9. And remember that to go down a whole step from your root gets you the flat 7. I want everybody to have that voicing down. So we have this. So to get the formula in the right hand, notice that once again, it's a triad. It's your E triad in second inversion. The formula, the chord formula, somebody write this in: root, flat 7, comma, 3, 13, flat 9. Yeah, G major 1 sharp. Rick is always on it. He's the Gandalf of iMusicAcademy. I'm telling you. There are like tons of Rickisms. Yeah, so you have this right here: root, flat 7, 3, 13. So somebody else write that out and let's pick a different key. Root, flat 7, 3, 13, flat 9. Another thing is, I've told you guys this before, but like you hear Oscar Peterson and all these jazz greats, of doing that. Yeah, for that, Anthony, we're thinking of major, so we're thinking of C. So this chord is G13, so a dominant chord, but transposed with the flat 9. Yeah, so for C, we're thinking root, flat 7, 3, 13, flat 9, right? So it's a dominant chord. And there's the formula. See how Rick wrote it out? Root, so Rick, take one of the commas out. What you want, Rick, is root, flat 7, and then the comma. The comma for me separates the right hand, the left hand and the right hand. So root, flat 7. All right, so why does it have to be a major chord? It doesn't necessarily. It all depends on the chord formula we're working on, Anthony. So in this case, we are working on a dominant chord. So here's the loop we're putting together right here, right? Which is 2, 5, 1, 6 in the key of C, right? And when you use chord formulas, you can play these things in any key, these voicings. So that's what we're working on right now, is this voicing: root, flat 7, 3, 13, flat 9. And somebody can yell out a different key, and let's put that in a different key. And in the meantime, I'll practice it as well. For F, root, flat 7, 3, 13, and flat 9. And notice that that's a D major chord in my right hand. And let me go back to G. I want to show you guys something right here. When I do that, that's right. Rick's got it. So, yeah, it separates the hands. Yes, and my apologies if I did not clarify that better. But I do just like I like to do that with major scales. I have a cool way of teaching that to people. In this case, we're separating the hands with root, flat 7, comma, then right hand, 3, 13, flat 9. Okay, so then Rick says A flat. So that's a nice key because it's right up a half step. And notice that I'm root, flat 7, 3, 13, and flat 9. And notice what I'm doing here. You don't have to do this, but you can use your pinky on the top note, or you can use your fourth finger. But I'm going up and down, like getting these sounds, because I want to practice going up and down the keyboard with these simple notes. Now, another really important thing, actually, I was playing, I wasn't doing that right. So I wasn't playing the flat 9. I wasn't playing the flat 9, I was playing the natural 9. I like that sound a lot if I was here. I was playing the natural 13. But if we're going to keep it consistently, because I'm used to playing, if I play this kind of sound, it doesn't matter. Like, I like the sound of that on top, and that's a fourth. That's just for the regular 9. There's their flat 9 right there. That was my fault. Okay, but here we are. And then once again, I want you guys to also know that in addition to this being an E triad, that'll help me if I go up a half step. Now I'm on A flat. And I'm doing 3, 13, and the flat 9. Just like in the key of G. 3, 13, flat 9. Okay, so now we have this. Okay, let's go on to the next one since we have about 5 minutes left. We have C major 9. This is an easy one, everyone. We have C, our root, our major 7. How do you find the major 7? Go down a half step. And then you have your 9, and you have your 5. So we have 7, 9, 5. 7, 9, 5. Somebody write 1 or root, and you go 7, 9, 5, and this will help us in any key. If I'm in F and I go 7, it's just down a half step, 9 and 5. Yeah, Rick says that. So 7 would be this, 9 and 5. For 7, 9, 5. Seven, 9, 5 for A major. Root 7, 9, 5. And remember, how do you find the major 7 of any key? Just go down half step. So 7, 9, and 5. A few more, and then we'll put it all together. Actually, we'll do the last chord. Yep. So any key. So if you go F sharp, you go 7, 9, 5. Sounds nice right there. What about E flat? 7, the major 7 down a half step, 9 and 5. Yeah? Okay, let's keep going down. The very next chord is this. This is sort of the dissonant / awesomeness. Okay, so right here we're doing A13, flat 9. So root, flat 7. Now watch this. Flat 9, 3, and 13. Somebody write this in the chat. Root, flat 7, comma, flat 9, 3, 13. Root, flat 7, flat 9, 3, 13. Root, flat for G, root, flat 7, 3. Same thing, flat 9, 3, 13. So notice that the flat 9 is there first. Rick says root, flat 7, flat 9, 3, 13. Okay, now as we start to do this, you're going to notice some patterns as we keep repeating these things. Is that many times I tell you guys that to make if you take a G octave, G to G, and if I say to make a G major 7, all you have to do is go down a half step. If I say give me a G7, I'm wanting a flat 7, I want go down a whole step from G. And notice that a lot of these chord voicings have this spacing right here, G with the flat 7. So you have major 7 or root. And I want to show you a little trick that we've talked about many times. If I say this chord voicing, root, flat 7, 3, 13, and 9, you have this shape right here, right? And this, notice that it has what we call the intervals of a fourth. B up to E is 4 notes away. B, C, D, A, even in the alphabet. E, F, G, A, right? E, F, G, A. So that's 4 notes away. And you have this shape that is useful for so many different things. The exact same shape. My hand span doesn't change as I learn this. It's just the intervals of the fourth. Now, in my left hand, if I have this right here, I can go from a G7 or a G dominant bluesy sound to a major sound by just changing my thumb up a half step to a major. Now I have a major 3, 6, 9. Here's my bluesy dominant. Major 7, happy sound, bluesy. Now I'm going to put that, you hear that? That's our G7. That's our second chord, right? So just know that as we're learning these shapes, these are shapes that we'll always have and we'll continue to use and get familiar with the spacing of things like your fourth voicing. And then even the idea of an octave, if you need a major 7 sound and you need a flat 7, you go down a whole step from your root. And that's kind of important. All right, we're about to wrap it up. We're going to do one quick thing. Let me play the A7 again, and then I'm going to show you one more thing in this PDF. All right, so make sure that you spend time with this one. If I say root, flat 7, flat 3, flat 9, 3, and 13, this is the hardest. This is the hardest chord on this block, and it's the most dissonant. But you put it all together. That's a great loop to get. And you can actually go 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and bop, bop. Or you can do just whole notes 2 and 3 and 4, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 and 4. 2 and 3 and 4, 2, 4, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3. So it's good to be able to learn all of this and spell your chord formulas. The more you spell those out, the better you'll get at it. But it's also important to just go for it, right? Just to learn it and play it. And so you spend time between playing and doing the hard stuff of being able to get these chord formulas down. All right, so here's the thing that I want you guys to really think about is, like, we put this in all keys. So each block in all keys. We're not done with the other 3 sections, but I wanted you to at least see this, is that you have this right here, right? And then it's actually showing you the music here on this. Okay, so you spend time. So all we're doing is going from here up to here and doing the same exact thing. And this is same thing on chord formulas. Imagine if you spent a lot of time right here. You say, all right, there's E flat minor 9, right? There's your A flat 13 with the flat 9, right? Okay, and then I have one other thing to show you, is that up here we put it's not in here in this one. The synthesia. I'm going to get that right. Synthesia video that takes you through all the keys in MIDI format while it's going through. So it's something you could play along with. So anyway, I don't know why the link's not working, but that's another thing we've added into this. All right, so here's my assignment for you guys, is spend time with block 1. Just have fun with it. Remember, you can always roll up these things right here, and this helps you with the whole course of putting the entire loop together. Remember, there are 2 loops. And I think it would be too much to do the entire loop in all keys, but just the question is, do you guys like being able to play all of the blocks in all keys, or is that too much? That would be helpful to know that. All right, guys, I will see you guys for Chord Academy tomorrow. Oh, there's one other thing I was going to tell you. Look for another email from me, because I went ahead and we've been talking about community, and I've been trying to make it to where we can interact with each other in a community atmosphere while having access to all the material. So you guys know I have a membership. Yeah, I actually can. Let me say something about that in just a minute. So, the idea of community is super important, and I want to make sure that, so I did an add-on, and I'm going to try it out. I have 30 days to figure this out, but a place where not only do we have the courses, but we can interact in kind of a chat place, and I think you can go live in the platform as well. But I went ahead and bought the lifetime membership of it, and I want to try it out and see how we do. But it's basically like I invested $297, and I will always have the platform. But it's in addition to the platform we already have that we were using this past year. So you'll be able to log in. You'll be able to see everything that the community says about, whatever course we're working on. You can access the material in there instead of the Google Drive and everything. And so anyway, look for another email, and as soon as I get my login information, I'll send that to you guys, and we'll get going with that. Have we done merch? I have actually done some merch things. If anybody would be interesting, like we've done like IMA for iMusicAcademy. I'm a piano player. Like imagine a little coffee mug that says I'm a piano player. And we've actually done some like T-shirts and things, but I didn't know if anybody would actually want something like that. All right, Doug's on the fence about this lesson. That's what he means by interesting lesson. I'm surprised he didn't bring out the police thing on that. All regarding the chord formulas, it's just something that will help you in the long run. Like, it's great to be able to just play, and you will be able to play and not even have to think about anything as you get these down, all these chord voicings that we're doing. But it is important to learn about your theory, and don't be afraid of it. Like this one, if you just want to take the first chord and say, all right, I'm going to learn my D major scale, right? And D major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Bob said flat 7, flat 3, 5, and against my root. Okay, that's going to help you in the long run. Yeah, I got your number, Doug. But isn't that so nice how you could just take this first chord, right, and really make some nice music? How cool is that? All right, guys, you have 30 seconds to say goodbye to each other. I'll see you guys in the next lesson. I'll try to do a better job of explaining these chord formulas again, and don't be afraid of them, and we'll see you in the next lesson. T-shirts should come in shades of blues. Yep. Yeah, I'll show you, Vance. I'll send you what we've done, and you can get your opinion on that. Awesome, guys. As we always do, we say goodbye to each other, and I want to say goodbye to our community as well. Anthony, good to see you. Hopefully you're still with us. I didn't scare you off. Rick, good to see you as always. Thank you for your awesome help. Vicky, thank you for your awesome help. Vance, you as well. Dad, good to see you again. I think we have everybody covered. Jeffrey, the most consistent man at iMusicAcademy, always helping out with things. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. Doug, good to see you. Awesome. Doug, great to see you chiming in. No police cars for Doug today. Very thankful for that. Awesome, Anthony. Yeah, Anthony, let me know if you have any questions, or if you want me to send you the PDF of the sharps just to help with major scale fingerings. Maybe I could do a lesson really soon on major scales. How about that? We just talk major scales and kind of get in the habit of flowing through that. All right, more information coming soon about this platform, and I'm going for it and seeing what happens. But I'll need my community to help me figure this out.